Finally thoughts. So for this one, since we played this game so many times, we're going to do our first review on the channel. Mm-hmm. People who have followed the channel for a while will know, hey, Jared, you said you were going to review 2 other games. I did review them. They're just not out. So this will probably be the first one, which means that I've gotten it more like narrowed down. So our first one, we're going to talk about the play count. Play count for this game is, with the new expansion, 1 to 6 players. We've played it with 3, and we played it with 5, I want to say. Mm-hmm. I actually like it with like 3 to 4, actually. I would like the opportunity to play with like 5 and 6 people, but the game itself would just get really long with 5 to 6 players.
I don't mind playing this game for longer, but yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of the play count, I think that they offer a nice range of, people to play with. If you go with the 5 to 6, it will be a little longer, but it's still a fun game. Clank is just really fun, so it doesn't matter in the long run. So for play count, I'm going to give it because I feel like they did it right, I'll give it a 5.
I'll give it a 5 as well. 5 plus 5 divided by 2 is 5.
So for our play count, which Jared will put here, and then later Jared will be upset that I said that he'd put it in, we have a 5.
It's a good range of how many players you can play with.
Yeah. For mechanics, this is a deck builder with like some area movement type stuff. I'll have to what is it called? It's a deck builder with movement mechanics. There are things on the board that I like how every map there's different things that they add on to it. So for this one, there are the curses. For the underwater one, there was the splashing, which gave Clank. For I think this
and the scuba.
Yeah, the scuba thing. They also have like the cloak that we could have added so that we could move through and avoid monster attacks, things like that. So I like the mechanics of the game. I love deck builders, so there's obviously that part of it. I obviously feel like Clank does deck building well. Even with the size of the decks with things included, it can get really big, but we still get to see new things. Like, I never saw half of these. What were they?
We didn't see Monkey Bot the last 2 times
we played. The Monkey Bot, the Royal Bodyguard and the Thrill Seeker, some of the ones you played, I hadn't seen them when we played before. So it's fun to be able to play a lot and then get new cards or new mechanics. Like, I'm used to getting the cards that let you draw more. Madi stole them from me, so I had to go a different tactic. I went heavily on move, which allowed me to get out a little bit. So I love the mechanics of this game. I honestly don't have any negatives towards the mechanics. I know that there are some bad things about Clank. I'm just saying for our purposes, for me, Clank is a 5.
I would also say I love the mechanics. I love that each time, you can build a different deck. Like last time I played, I built a heavy movement deck. Did I die last time? Yes. Did I die this time? And I still had a pretty heavy movement deck. Yes, but I still really like it. I love that you can die, and your points can still count if you're like above a certain place. I think that's really cool, and it doesn't just you're like, oh, I'm dead, like whatever.
Yeah.
Unless you die down here, which I have done before.
Even no matter where you die, even if you die, you start doing like the end of the game. So that way it doesn't become one player sitting out for, an hour or
rounds, and you're just like...
At most, you have like 4 rounds, or if it's a game like how we did, we managed to get all of the black die out and still stay alive for the most part. So then it became like there's 6 cubes left in the bag.
Yeah. But I would also give it a 5.
Yeah. So 5 and 5 divided by 2
equals 5.
So our next one is setup / teardown and time to play. This is the only area where I have a little bit of an issue with it. The setup / teardown. Setup is easy. When you go to set it up, you just need to find which deck you're going to be playing with and add it into the base deck. The teardown is a little annoying because then you have to go through all the cards and take out the ones from that deck.
Then there's nothing you can really do about that.
Yeah, it's not their fault. I'm not saying like they did it wrong. It's still annoying for me. And then in terms of playtime, I feel like Clank, except for like those instances where it's a 5 or 6 player game, Clank is a game for me that has a perfect playtime. It's not long. It's just, it feels like when it should end, it's about to end. Yeah. For me.
Like when you could feel your deck getting like a little bigger and you're like, oh, this game's about to end.
Like your deck's bloated.
I also like the fact that, depending on how you play too, like the people you're playing with, you can make it shorter or longer. Like Jared and I definitely prolonged. We got our stuff and we still stayed down in the depths. Like, so we made it longer than we had to. But, sometimes when we play with Jared's partner, they like to leave like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And
you saw the last time we played Link up there. I did the same tactic because I knew Maddie was going to win, so I tried to leave to make her die, and it didn't work.
Yeah, so it just, it depends on how you're playing and who you're playing with and the strategy you decide to go with, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 5.
And in terms of, for me, just for Teardown, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I love the game, obviously. I talked too much about it, but the Teardown part, there's nothing they could do. I'm not putting the blame on them. It's just that it is annoying sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there have been times when I'm like, I'd rather say that we'll play this game again than tearing it down. I'd much rather just play the game again. That's one of the reasons why we played this, is because it's like, let's just play it. We'll put it on the channel. We didn't play this one on the channel, and then we don't have to tear it down right away. So yeah, I gave it a 4. Marty gave it a 5. That brings it up to a 4.5, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why am I asking you? You're not. I'll cut that part out.
I know how to do math.
The theme and aesthetic. The theme for this one, I mean, the base Clank is you are adventurers who are working together to try and get treasures from a dragon castle and then leave. If you're not able to make it above the depths, then you just die because the dragon has you in its holds. Or if you get above the depths, the townspeople pull you out. Mm-hmm. So you get you get to keep your rewards and stuff. I do feel that theme throughout the game. Yeah. Like you meet companions while you're in there. You get artifacts like, the Wand of Recall. You get little devices that you can use. So everything feels a part of that theme if you and allow it to be a part of the theme. It's a deck builder, so you're not going to actually have artifacts, like laying about. But, I like that I can find a ladder when we're going through the deck, and the ladder could help me move. I can find a teleporter that allow me to get out of the dungeon. So, I feel the theme throughout. I also like how there are these crystal caves that stop you from moving, but then you could get dead run, and you can move right through the caves, or you can get the flying carpet and fly through the caves. Things like that. I feel the aesthetic is there.
I like the aesthetics of this game. I think that it's very random, but also very fun. Mm-hmm. It's there's a
the monkey bot theme. That's fucking random as hell.
There's a monkey bot, and you can just get a monkey bot.
Or in the 5 to 6 player expansion, you can play as the monkey bot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like you're finding people that would be in a dungeon with you, and they all work together, and it really helps you.
Oh, and there's monsters too.
And there's monsters.
You get to fight monsters.
And
so yeah, I
like the aesthetics. Sorry if I am. My mind is for some reason drawing a blank.
You're like words.
And then I like that each new board has a different aesthetic to it. Like this one has.
It has the whole mummy theme.
The whole mummy theme. And so we get new cards that have the mummy theme on them. Anari, was it you? It was.
We probably could have talked about this in the mechanics part, but it is, each new board brings something new to it, and that adds to the mechanics of it. So I like the theme. Aesthetics. Yeah, I like the theme and the aesthetics that come with each board, because it could be why do we need this? It's just a mummy and a temple. We can keep playing base game Clank. And it's yes, you could. You can play base game Clank and have a great time. But when you add in this mummy, which then has the dragon and a mummy that's chasing after you, it's another level. It's fun. It's a different element to the game. Yeah. So for theme and aesthetics, I'm going to give it a 5.
I'll also give it a 5.
Yeah. And then I think our last one, because I think I wanted to make it 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rules and teachability. I mean, the game is not hard to play. One of the things that I do hate about Clank, though, is the rule book, because it's written as an adventure book, which is great, but then when you're going to flip through it to try and find a specific rule, it's not always easy to find. But outside of that, I do think the rules and teachability are very easy. We've taught this to a lot of different friends over the years. My wife was very quickly easy to pick up on this. There are a few times where I'm like, I can't quite remember this. Let me go check. And there are some instances where the minor secrets have to be used instantly versus not, or the major secrets have to be used instantly versus not, which is a little annoying. Mm-hmm.
There's some things where you're like, are you allowed to do that? I don't know. And you're just like, okay. But for the most part, this game like really stays in your brain. Like it's really easy to pick up and play again if you haven't for a little bit. And I love playing this game when we have people over. I think it's so fun. It's a fun game. Not only is it a fun game to play, but you know, it's really easy to pick up on. It's a deck builder and you're moving through.
Like it's very easy after like a few turns to be like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I also like how, like, even I wouldn't recommend, you know, teaching them with one of the expansions. When you go with the base game, you can easily find out, okay, this means that it's locked. I have to buy a key. This means I'll get attacked. I have to have swords or take the hit. So it's like you get that feeling of I'm going to make it through. I can figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So rules and teachability, I'm going to give it another 4 just because, like I said, there are those moments where it can get a little annoying. Like, oh, do I use this instantly? Do I have to hold on to it? Oh, I forgot to get this. Let me go back and do that.
The first time we played, we kept our devices in our hands.
Yes. So that was a part of that story.
Using them.
How we got to like 300. We kept devices. Did we keep monsters too?
No, we didn't keep monsters.
No. Yeah. So we kept the devices. That was on our fault. I'm not saying that's the rules fault.
Yeah,
We didn't read that right. Kept the devices. Got a whole bunch of points because we kept healing and kept moving around, and kept putting cubes back in the bag. That was the other thing. So yeah, I gave it a 4 for rules / teachability.
You know what? Honestly, I'd give it a 5.
Okay. Marty said it's all 5s for me.
All 5s. Try me. Try to say this is a bad game. I'll fight.
So that is another 4.5. So that means we have 3 5s and 2 4.5s. And I'm not that good at math. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4.5 plus 4.5 equals 24. Divided by 2, because there's 2 of us, is a 12. Divided by 2.
Is this...
No. How does this math work out?
You should have divided it by 5.
That's what it was. I'm going to cut out all this bad mathing. 24 divided by 5.
Because you've already divided it by 2.
There we go. So, my perfect math aside, which may or may not make it into the edit, Clank gets a 4.8 from us. If you couldn't have told... Is that the right way to say that? If you couldn't figure out from us talking about it, we love Clank.
We love Clank.
Clank is my go-to for new people who are new to the genre.
Clank is my go-to game when I'm feeling bad and I just want to play an easy game.
Yeah.
And have fun and not feel bad anymore. So we have played it 3 days in a row.
And luckily for Jared loves Clank. Jared loves playing board games. Let's do it. So if you haven't played Clank, run out there and get it if you trust our opinions on anything.
Yeah, and if you want to play the expansions, also Legacy game.
Clank Legacy is a whole different thing that I'm debating on. I think we should do one of two things, or maybe both things. We play one for the channel, then we buy a separate set, or the repack set or something like that, and then play that as our playthrough on Patreon.
Oh, okay.
But either way, Clank Legacy, that's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different story.
And if you thought we loved Clank,
we love Clank Legacy.
Just saying.
Jared didn't used to stay up past like 11.
9 or 10.
Yeah, really 9 or 10. And multiple times, Jared was delirious because we would play for so long. Because
Clank Legacy was a game where, like, we finished it, and literally it was like we opened up new quests, we opened up new threads, and it's like, why don't we just do one more?
One more! One more!
Let's just get another game in, and then it'll be more fun. So, yeah, thank you all for watching this. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you can leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and check out more information about us down below in the description. And come back next time for more awesome games and maybe board game reviews.
Don't let dinosaurs eat your head.
And I promise, at some point, those other 2 reviews will be seen. I want them to be seen. I just haven't edited them. Bye.
Bye, guys. See you next time.